Sorry guys, I'm getting a little emotional here. Finally, Sony. What the hell, Sony? 1 minute you're giving us garbage, and the next you're giving us this? Why you gotta play with my feelings like this? So before I summarize the plot for you as I usually do, I'm gonna make sure I give you as little as possible so you can go into it knowing as little as possible for the best experience. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is about a kid named Miles Morales who finds out that there's actually more than one Spider-Man once he gained his powers and bumped into Peter Parker from another dimension. And now Miles, alongside all the other Spider-Mans from their respective universe, has to stop the evil Kingpin. Wow, I was genuinely surprised. I mean, honestly, after Venom, I sort of lost faith in Sony with their hands on the Spider-Man license. But I gotta admit, I think this is one of the better movies I've seen in 2018. Before this, where was your creativity? Your ideas? Your efforts? Why is it only now that you've crafted something like this? I mean, there's talent. I've just seen it in this movie. So why couldn't you have done it before? It pisses me off, man. When it comes to the character of Spider-Man in any of the movies we've seen in the past, they pretty much nailed him, yes, even in The Amazing Spider-Man, just to a certain extent. And I thought in this film, they did an excellent job with the character of Miles Morales. I was rooting for him all the way, and that's exactly what you want from your audience, to support and care about what the main character does throughout the entire movie. And speaking of Spider-Man, I thought all the others were so good. I loved all of them. No one fell out of place. They all had their own distinct personalities, and it was just bloody entertaining to watch. Of course, there's also some fan service, and I absolutely loved it, right? I mean, what can I say? Call me a fanboy or whatever, right? I don't care. I had a damn good time with Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Pretty much 90% of the characters were well written, they had a good amount of depth, and I was genuinely surprised by the amount of emotions that was conveyed in this film. And if you're a hardcore Spider-Man fan, just a fair warning, there's a little gut punch somewhere in the film, so just be ready for that. Alright, let's talk about the humor. My god, I found it extremely funny. I was laughing throughout the movie. They were so well written, and these aren't just disposable kiddie jokes. They were played very nicely, and it just works excellently. Now, as we've seen in the trailers, the big villain is Wilson Fisk, and I thought he was great. I mean, of course, he was nowhere near to what Daredevil has given us, but for what this movie was, he worked really well. I mean, he was emotionally driven and he was intimidating. And as we all know, Marvel doesn't have the best track records of villains, and so I thought this movie did an excellent job in providing us with a great antagonist. And speaking of the villains, not to spoil anything, but there are a few others, and this is where my sort of nitpicking comes in, because I didn't quite like one of them, just one of them, but I'm not gonna tell you who, so yeah, don't worry about it. So they used the 2D animation for this film, and I'll be honest, I wasn't the biggest fan of it when I saw the trailers, and even in the first 10 minutes of the movie, I was a little iffy about it, but then I slowly got used to it as the movie progressed, and yeah, so it wasn't really a big deal. I think what made this movie as entertaining as it was that they made it into such a comic booky movie, and they took advantage of that in all the right ways. I mean, just the pop-up words that come up on screen in a given situation was enough to be played for laughs, and I thought that was so cleverly done. My crowd was having such a good time with this movie. I mean, kids were laughing, adults were laughing, and this is definitely a film for everyone. With all that being said, I'm gonna give Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse an A. Damn, I never expected to give this movie such a high grade, but what can I say? They surprised me. Hey look, Sony, you have potential to make great movies after all, and this is exactly what we wanted, right guys? And please don't let me down in the future. Let it be all sunshine and rainbows, alright? Alright. But anyways, if you guys have seen this film, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. And yeah, as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Ciao.